Sir, I know the subject. I have prepared well. But whenever I stand in front of the audience, my mind goes blank. And I feel my heart is racing. I become breathless. And I have a feeling that I have failed. Now tell me, is this a real stage fear? Or is it something more deeper that has been happening over a period of time? Let us explore this case in detail. I am Stani, the founder and director of Atmanam. I'm a practicing counselor and psychotherapist. In this series, I bring to you a real case that I have attended. Not just to tell you about what the problem is, but to understand how the mind of a therapist works, how we can use our theory in real situation, and how to move beyond symptoms to real issues. Because counseling is not about giving advices, but to go beyond to see what is the problem behind the person. This is a case of a 21-year-old college student. Let us call him Anand. He was a bright student. He had good understanding of the subject. He was very clear even on a one-on-one conversation. In fact, speaking to a small group, he felt confident, clear, and expressive. But everything changed as he stood in front of the audience. His heart started racing, he went breathless, he started to sweat profusely, and he had a thought that he would make a fool of himself. Slowly, he began to avoid such situations. Eventually, his academic performance declined. When he came for counseling, he said, "Sir, I want to overcome stage fear." Now, as counselors, we don't jump into conclusions. Instead, we ask certain questions. From a diagnostic perspective, does Anand has social anxiety disorder? Anand experienced intense anxiety while facing the others. His heart races, his breathing becomes rushed, and he feels whether he would make a mistake. So we ask, is this more than normal nervousness? Or this could be a more serious social performance anxiety? We don't conclude yet, but we keep these options open. The first question that comes to mind is this performance-specific anxiety? Anand feels comfortable speaking one-on-one, but his anxiety increases only when he's addressing a larger crowd. Probably, he's feeling judged by the others. The second thing that we might assume is negative evaluation. When we began to explore more, he said he was afraid of people evaluating him, and if people evaluate him, he would feel embarrassed. Therefore, he would conclude in his mind that he is incapable of performance. From a cognitive perspective, Anand believed, and if he does make a mistake, then he would be considered inadequate. So there are certain rigid beliefs that has been lodged in his system. We can also assume whether Anand has any catastrophic beliefs. In his mind, he thinks one mistake, he will be judged. And if being judged, then he's incompetent. This is a rigid structure of thoughts that goes on in Anand's mind. From a personality perspective, he does not think, I will do well. Instead, he thinks, I must do well. This might probably indicate there is perfectionism. From a learning perspective, we can understand whether Anand had any prior knowledge. What I mean is, does he have any experiences that had led him to believe that he is inadequate. When asked, Anand mentioned that he had gone through criticism in life very early on. As a young boy, he was being criticized by his parents. He was told to be perfect, not to make mistakes, because it could bring a bad name to the family. While at school, he was also corrected and laughed upon by students, and teachers did correct him in public, which he felt embarrassed. So what we can conclude is Anand was going through a series of embarrassment, anxiety, and ultimately fear. At this stage, we are not making a conclusion, but instead we are asking a few questions. Is this anxiety related? Is this belief driven? Is personality involved? And is it a learned behavior because of his lived-in experience? Now we begin to test our hypothesis. When it comes to one-on-one conversation, Anand is clear and he's confident. This overrules the possibility of skill problem. His anxiety increases only when others are watching and others are judging him. We explore this thought again. Anand believes, what if I make a mistake? And if I make a mistake, what if others would judge me? And if they judge me, I will feel low, incompetent, and embarrassed. Now we are getting closer. Anand has irrational beliefs, especially the fear of negative evaluation. But we don't stop here. We go deeper. I asked Anand, has something like this happened to you earlier on in life? And Anand said, when I was young, I was told not to make a mistake. I was criticized if I did make a mistake, and I was reprimanded. When I scored less in my examinations, I was compared with others. This caused me to feel a sense of shame and incompetence within me. So what did Anand learn? I must not make mistakes, and if I make mistakes, I will be criticized. Even at school, I had negative experiences. My teachers correcting me in front of others, my fellow students laughing at me, and this has caused a deep sense of shame and embarrassment within me. As I was growing up, I always heard that you should be perfect and you cannot make mistakes. If I do make mistakes, you are not accepted because you bring shame to the family. So performance becomes linked to self-esteem and the very identity that I hold. While he was growing up, he also observed that others were also ill-treated or not accepted because they failed in any activity. Therefore, he learned that if he failed, then he will not be accepted. In short, Anand was making a singular equation in his mind. The equation goes like this. If I succeed, I am somebody. If I don't, I am a nobody. Now everything comes together. This is not stage fear. This is, I must be perfect. If I make a mistake, it is terrible. Others will judge you for what you do, and my worth depends on my performance. So therapy was not about removing the fear directly. It became what he tells himself. We worked on identifying thoughts, value systems, beliefs, and trying to trace the origin of the belief system. Gradually, Anand's thought process changed. It shifted from not making a mistake to making a mistake will not make him a terrible person. And it is uncomfortable to fail, but still it is not the end of me. We also introduced gradual exposure, taking things slowly, and also removing avoidant behavioral patterns. At this point, Anand said, "Sir, it is not the fear that is caused by my failure, but my fear comes from being judged by the others." That is a shift from the symptom to understanding. As counselors, do not stop with symptoms and do not stop with thoughts. Explore how beliefs are formed and how real life experiences can contribute to the formation of the belief system. This process is not easy because the client wants instant remedies, and secondly, memories are not always clear. Beliefs are difficult to question and emotions are often uncomfortable. But this is where real work happens. Ask yourself, am I only focusing on the symptoms? Do I explore belief patterns? How culture, religion, and family can shape up one's belief system? And how I can address their story here and now. What we may call stage fear may actually be years of conditioning and years of learning that comes at any given situation where Anand have to perform in public. If you like our content, please do subscribe and share with friends. And we also offer personal counseling and internships. Find contact details in the description. Until then, keep learning, keep growing.